Yep.
Okay. So you ready?
I lied. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay.
Or am I?
Hello and welcome to the Ravishing Podcast. We're talking through Jilly Cooper's Rutshire Chronicles in order, one section at a time. We'll discuss the chaos, the drama, the sex, and everything else that gets thrown in along the way. Just to clarify, we're not professionals or journalists. We just love the books, the Rutshire world Jilly has created, and love talking about them. You may already know the books well, you may never have read them and only heard about Jilly Cooper through the recent fabulous Rivals TV series on Disney+. Everyone is welcome here. I'm Lib, I'm relatively new to these books, and my mum Jan has known them for years.
For those newcomers who've only seen the new TV show, Riders is the first in the 11-book series and when we first meet Rupert Campbell-Black. Rivals is the second book and we'll be moving on to that one soon. Each episode we'll talk through some of the key things that happen in the books, refreshing your mind for those who've read them. We'll also let you know which chapters we'll be covering so you can read the books alongside for the full experience. If you don't, you'll be missing out on all of Jilly's humour, storytelling and juicy details. We're here to analyse, or maybe overanalyse, with opinions, tangents and probably a lot of judgment, because these books deserve to be talked about. There will be swearing and there will be mentions of sex because this is Jilly Cooper, and if we had to cut out the rude bits there'd be nothing left to talk about. Before we get into it, how are you?
I'm good, and I've just realised that it's 12:30 and I need lunch.
Oh dear, well we better talk quickly.
We better do it quick because I need to eat, because I don't want to spoil my meal when we go out.
Oh yeah,
as well.
We're going out later.
So if my stomach rumbles during this, it's my mother's fault.
Always.
No, we need to have some lunch after this. Right, last episode we met Helen, and then finally we met Rupert.
Yay!
Now it's time to get to know them a little better and see how their relationship develops. So Helen and Rupert have just had a rather interesting lunch together. They're clearly very different, as we know, but opposites do attract.
Sometimes.
We definitely won't be writing them off as just another fling quite yet. So, just because lunch is over doesn't mean their date is finished. They're literally spending the whole day together. So they went to church. They went to church and then they went to lunch, and now Rupert wants to get Helen back to his mother's house for some hanky-panky.
Of course.
But first, obviously, he has to go and look at a horse. At first, the horse is described as aggressive, difficult, not entirely trustworthy, the sort of animal that would terrify most riders, but not Rupert.
Nope.
And somehow, he looks even better on a horse than he does off one. We didn't think it was possible.
Well, he's definitely got a natural talent, hasn't he?
Yeah.
With horses.
Mm-hmm. And other things, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, and even Helen said she was ashamed at how much she fancied himself a horse.
And let's just take a moment here to talk about Rupert. And this is going to happen a lot. I've said it before, and I will say it again. I've said it to you so many times. In these books, anything that Rupert does is right. And he definitely doesn't very often align with my actual opinions. But for the purposes of the book and the world, he's right and everyone else is wrong, you know? And he does some awful things, and I've actually written down, he does reprehensible things, but the statement stands. I can't and won't explain.
I know! I mean, what happens to us? What has Jilly done to us?
What has she done to us?
It's a gift.
Honestly, the stuff that he does, especially in this book, I mean, his character does evolve and we'll get onto it later, but in this book, he does some awful things.
He's at his worst in this book.
He is definitely at his worst. If you like him in this book, you'll have no problem with him for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
And he becomes less controversial as time goes on and more of just kind of like a cult figure, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And like I said, he has his finger in every pie. He's always part of every situation. And the other books kind of move on to different things and they focus around different stuff, but he's always just there. He just knows everyone, you know?
I mean, and the more we get to know him and the more he matures, the harder I fall.
Oh, yeah.
And you also like talking about the other books, and it's like if Rupert's there, you know somehow it's all going to end up okay.
Yeah. And you know to just take whatever side he's on.
Yeah.
Because it's going to work out for him.
Yeah.
So while Rupert's handling the purchase of this horse, Helen's waiting in the car. And the back seat is covered in unopened envelopes. It's just a mess of fan mail, bills, everything, just unopened. And she finds one letter addressed to Rupert Campbell-Black, the handsomest man in England. Helen is clearly going to have some competition. Is it because he's the handsomest man in England that we love him so much, or is there more? I mean, I think we touched on this last episode, that he's got charisma. He's got so much energy about him. It's not just looks.
He's got
I
wit.
don't think.
He's also kind in some ways.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing much of that yet.
That's hard to understand.
Yeah.
And yeah, we don't see much of it at the beginning, definitely.
I mean, I don't love him at this point. He's direct. He's definitely a bit of a shit. But I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued by him.
Yeah, me too. So, let's see a bit more. So, Rupert invites Helen back to his mother's house. And Helen thinks she's going to meet his mum. And she's like, oh my gosh, so soon. He must be very serious about me. But Rupert knows that his mum is away on holiday and the house is empty, and he thinks he's just going to get a quick shag from Helen.
He usually works with all the other girls.
It does. And I thought, Helen obviously doesn't know him at all just yet if she truly believed the situation was entirely innocent.
Exactly.
And then we get our first real glimpse into Rupert's childhood. So he's got divorced parents. They remarried many times, so lots of step-parents, and he treated them all terribly. And he was packed off to boarding school when he was very young. I want to say 7.
I think he was about 7, yeah.
But his brother got to stay at home, being coddled by his mum. And we can see now how this would be labelled as like abandonment issues and all of that. Rupert doesn't see it like this. He doesn't reflect on it. He doesn't really reflect on anything other than horses. But Helen studied psychology and she feels really, really sorry for him. What do we think of that? I mean, he's clearly had a bit of a tough upbringing.
Yeah, like you say, he doesn't acknowledge it, but he must have been affected by it at some level.
I mean, his mum didn't want him.
No. I mean, even he admits that he was a bit of a sod to his long list of step-parents. Yeah. And even though he lived with his mother, he spent most of his time in the holidays. He spent more time with his nanny, who even visited him at school, which his mother didn't. And most of the holidays he spent with Billy and his family. Yeah. So, you know, although he might not acknowledge it, you see how his life has panned out. So there must be something there.
You can see how it's kind of shaped the way he is. And I think it maybe wouldn't be as bad if his brother had been in the same position, or even if Rupert had been an only child. But the fact that his brother got to stay at home, being loved by his mum, when Rupert didn't.
Although he doesn't have issues with his brother, does he? He loves his brother.
But like he's not jealous of his brother.
No.
I think he just it would make him subconsciously feel more that his mum specifically didn't want
She's
him.
done it to both of us.
Yeah. You know,
no,
if it was both
of
him. Yeah. But he doesn't have an issue with his brother. And his brother does come into it a little bit later on. Now, while we're talking about Rupert, I do want to ask another question about the TV series.
Ooh.
Do we think that Disney decided to do the second book? It's not Disney. Who makes it? Hulu.
Yeah. Or is it Hulu?
Whoever makes it.
Yeah.
Do we think they decided to do the second book because Rupert is much more palatable in the second book and onwards than he is in the first one? I think there's a lot of big issues in this book that might be quite difficult to handle in a TV show.
Yeah, potentially. I think he definitely gets better as he matures.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't see such a likeable version of Rupert in this particular book. And also Riders had already been done, but I mean, I rewatched it recently. I mean, it was made in the 90s and it was awful and dated. And and in a way I wish Disney Plus would do it.
Right.
Because they'd make such a much better job of it. It'd be so good. But having said that, in the 90s TV version, I did absolutely love the casting of Billy and Jake. As you know, we talked about Jake. And Billy, it was played by Anthony Carf, a younger Anthony Carf. And actually, interesting point, in real life, Anthony Carf is married to Caroline Harker, who's the actor who played Tori in the TV show. Yeah, I thought that was quite nice.
Oh, small world.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see that made into such a good series like the second book is.
Yeah, because when's the second book? Is it set in the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and they made a good job of it because, you know,
it's so good.
Now you there's a lot of political correctness and all of that. But they made the 80s look how people like me felt in the 80s,
right?
Without making it too sterilised.
It's difficult, isn't it?
So I think that they could have done the same for the 70s because obviously the 70s was a lot more sexist and
I mean, you've kind of anything. I mean, you see it with like Bridgerton as well. like, you either choose to confront what it was like, or you kind of consciously don't do it and bring in more modern themes.
Yeah.
Just because if you made it true, like historically accurate, there would be so many issues that you wouldn't see the story that's actually being told. And it's more like in the series, the 80s is like an idea rather than an actual historical period that's being addressed. Does that make sense? It's a feeling.
Yeah. I mean, now rereading like Riders, for example, now I wince at some of the things in there, whereas when I read it originally, it was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world, isn't it?
You do kind of have to ignore the little bits that are like of its time.
Yeah.
Just to be able to enjoy it properly.
I would love to know a reason why they didn't start with Riders.
Yeah. My thinking was that it'd be too difficult with the horses and filming it. I thought maybe the budget's not big enough.
Yeah, but I get a sense, I know we're talking about the TV show and we shouldn't really be moving on to that yet.
Obviously we're going through the books in order,
yeah,
so we'll get on to the second book and we'll do so much in depth about it.
Yeah, but it does look like the second series of Rivals touches on the book Polo, which has lots of horses.
I would love to see that. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they're going to keep going. I really am.
Please.
Yeah, because I think that they finished the series more than halfway through the book.
Yeah.
So my thinking was that maybe they're going to go, and we're giving too much away, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm thinking that maybe they're going to follow, because the third book kind of moves on to a new kind of cast of main characters, but in the same world. So I was thinking that they might start following the same characters through to the time period that the third book's in.
And introduce the new ones as they go along.
So the main story of the third book is the background story of the series. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yep. Rather than shift into a new set of characters, they're going to keep the same people.
The familiarity,
but the events from the third book from their perspective. Yeah. I don't know if I've explained that very well, but that would be really fun to watch, I think, because then it doesn't matter how accurate it is to the book, because they're making their own story.
Yeah, although I'd like it to be.
Just make the books word for word, letter for letter.
No, they don't have to do that. But that does annoy me sometimes when
they interpret it too much.
Yeah, and you think, well, why did you even use that book if you've changed it so much?
It's like the new Wuthering Heights film as well, isn't it? That's such an interpretation.
Yeah, but they've done that purposefully.
But if you consciously
there's so many versions of Wuthering Heights, whereas, there's only this. Yeah. Come on.
But if you consciously do an interpretation and say, this is my interpretation, I don't mind it. I'm like, make it fun, make it entertaining. Anyway, back to the
Rupert.
book number 1. Before the series. We're going to end up doing this too much because there's too many things to talk about. Right, so we're at Rupert's not childhood home, we're at Rupert's mother's house. We've just talked a little bit about his childhood. So Helen definitely thinks that Rupert is the damaged bad boy figure who only behaves badly because of his past, and he's going to be saved by the love of a good woman. And she thinks that she is the good woman that can sort him out. She thinks she's going to heal him and make him a good person. And what do we think about that? My 2 questions here were, is she right that this is what he needs? And is she right that she's the one to do it? And I think it might be no on both.
I think he would definitely be helped by the love of a good woman and the love of the right woman.
Yes, without giving too much away.
But Helen definitely isn't that.
She's not the one.
No, she's not the one to change him. She's far too prissy and uptight.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
she
at this point, we
tries.
don't know that too much.
No, we don't know that she's not going to be the one, but we do know that she is prissy and uptight, and we see potentially that she might be softening a bit and being, succumb to his charms and his humour, but I think she's too strong in her ways.
I think the thing is the rigidity that she was raised with.
Yeah.
And
that's hard.
I really, at this point when I was reading it for the first time, I so wanted her to bring him down to earth a little bit. Yeah. And straighten him out a little bit, and I wanted him to loosen her up a little bit. I so wanted to see that happen, but there's just...
I think
it's not the way the cookie crumbles in this case. No. And I wanted to see that happen at the time when I first read it. I thought, this could be so good for both of them. We're giving a little bit too much much away.
Other things are planned.
There's bigger things in store.
Bigger
I mean, Gilly definitely wrote this knowing exactly. You can tell when an author writes a book knowing that there's going to be
She's
way
mapped
more.
out lots.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if she necessarily knew there'd be 11, but she definitely knew there was going to be another one at least. And you can wait for the happy ending.
Yes.
So Rupert's mother's house is full of so many expensive things and lots of beautiful first editions of books. And Helen is so excited to see them. She's like, this is incredible. And Rupert's like, never read them.
No.
Not bothered. Probably uses them as coasters. And the contrast between them at this point just couldn't be more obvious. Helen is introspective and intellectual, and what I've written down, and so bloody earnest.
Poor girl.
And Rupert is practical, kind of surface level. He's not a deep thinker. He's quite unbothered by things and entirely uninterested in examining anything that might slow him down. Because he's all about success, achieving.
He's focused, isn't he?
Yeah, then what's the next show to win? What's the next thing to accomplish? And he's like that all the time, isn't he? And the difference between the two of them is just so obvious. And I think at this point it's a little bit of a subtle foreshadowing, or not very subtle foreshadowing, that they're so different.
No, I mean, you feel it's a possibility, but I just can't see what's in it for him. Can you? Besides, hopefully, a shag.
Well, she's very beautiful. And I think we've maybe not touched on this quite enough. She is meant to be the most beautiful woman ever.
She is.
And everyone thinks, oh, she's just so gorgeous.
But he has so many beautiful women throwing themselves at him.
And I think at this point she is maybe just one of them. But as things go on, I mean, it's that classic thing, isn't it? You know, hold out long enough so they get to know you and then they want you for you.
Yeah.
Type thing. And I think she definitely, that's what she's going for. And it works. At this point, do we feel like they can get past their differences? I don't know. I wanted them to. Whether I believed that they could.
The fact that you want them to means you think there's still a possibility at this stage. Yeah.
At this point, when I was reading the books, I was like, this is the great love story. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, you haven't given up hope.
Yeah, but one thing that we do have to remember is, and we said it, I think, in maybe the first episode, all these characters that Gilly creates are so real. They're just really real, you know, and they're flawed, and the story doesn't always go how you think it's going to go. Yeah, and that's what she does. She's just real, complicated.
Yeah, it's not all, everything's just marvellous and they all fall into bed together and the whole world's little birds flying. No.
So Helen finds out that she won't, as she thought, be meeting Rupert's mother because she's on holiday. And Rupert begins calculating the best way to remove Helen's clothes.
Of course.
And Helen instead has a breakdown. All of a sudden she's like, don't touch me. And she starts pouring out all of the details of her past with a certain Professor Harold Mountjoy and how she ended up being in England. And she's just having an absolute breakdown, just, you know, crying and blurting it all out. And Gilly says, Rupert got out a blue silk handkerchief and wiped away the mascara that was running down her cheeks. So you're like, oh, he's being so sweet. He's like looking after her, he's comforting her. And then you're he knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
There's always a motive.
Yeah. And that's just what he does. He is the perfect gentleman. He comforts her and then he sends her on his way. No mention of a second date. No mention of I'll call you later.
Keep her dangling.
Leaves her wanting.
Yep.
And it works.
Yep.
I've written down to ask, would it work on us? And then I put, with him?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, he's an experienced ladies' man for sure, isn't he? I mean, even though he's quite young, he's supposed
21,
to be about...
I think, at this point.
No, I think he's about... I thought he was about 25.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh. Well, early 20s.
Anyway, yeah, early 20s. He doesn't usually have to try too hard. The women all fall at his feet. And I think he's quite enjoying himself. You know, a bit of a challenge.
Well, she's not as easy as the girls he's used to. So, something a little bit different, a challenge for him.
She is beautiful, but, you know, let's just play along and see how it goes. Yeah.
And I think she is a challenge to him at the minute, because he doesn't really know her that well yet.
No. He's getting to understand her a little bit with a breakdown and everything, but even so, I don't think that has much sway.
And
with
this is,
again... like Rupert, though, does it?
Again, we've got to remember, this is the first date.
Yes, the first proper date.
So this is the end of the first date.
Yeah.
And what a first date it's been. I mean, so much has
So,
happened.
yeah, drama.
Yeah, breakdowns.
I mean, it wouldn't work on me. I mean, I'm more of a Billy or a Jake girl.
Oh, yeah.
But I definitely want Rupert as a friend.
Are
He'd
you
definitely
sure?
be fun.
He would be fun.
Yeah.
He would.
At this stage, I want him as a friend.
Yeah.
Maybe later on, you know.
Yeah. He does change a lot, doesn't he?
He does.
So we're going to take a leaf out of Rupert's book.
Ooh.
And we're going to leave you, listener, wanting more.
Oh, I like what you did there.
Very clever. So we're just going to take a quick break. But before we go, it's time for...
The Ravishing Quote Quiz. Oh, pressure. Go on.
So, I want to know who this quote is describing, okay? He's a bit of a bugger, run away with nearly every trooper in the regiment, fidgets on parade, breaks ranks, naps on duty, and won't obey orders.
Ooh.
I've really stumped her this time. Yes.
I'm thinking, we haven't met a soldier yet.
This is going to test your memory.
Yes. Okay. I'm thinking.
Who do you think it could be? Who have we met?
Obviously Rupert.
Yeah. I don't know if he was an army.
I don't think.
Army man or not.
No, his dad was he?
I think so. It's that time when a lot of older men were in the army.
Yeah. Yes. I'll ponder that one.
Yeah. Well, you ponder it as well while we take a quick
little
break. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're not going to keep you waiting any longer. Let's find out what Mum's going to guess for the Ravishing Quote Quiz, okay? So I'll read it again.
Okay.
We want to know who this quote is about. He's a bit of a bugger, run away with nearly every trooper in the regiment, fidgets on parade, breaks ranks, naps on duty, and won't obey orders.
I've had to think about this.
Okay. She's looked at my sheet when I've been
No,
out.
I have not, I swear. And I think, because we haven't met anybody in the army, but he did go to the barracks to look at that horse, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think they're talking about that horse. I can't remember what it's called. I know what he ends up calling it, but I can't remember what.
I want to say it's like Satan or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah. I think he's talking about the horse.
You think it's the horse?
Yeah.
I thought I got you on that one. You were right. I thought, this is a tricky one, you know. You're going to think it's about a person.
But you see, that's again what Julie does, isn't it? She writes that you've got the character of that horse.
I mean, that description sounds like they're describing a really stupid person, doesn't it? But no, it's a horse.
It's a lovable, crazy horse.
And it's the horse that Rupert eventually buys.
Yes.
On his date with Helen. So, back to the story. It's the end of the day, and Helen's dropped Rupert off at home.
No, Rupert's dropped Helen off at home.
Oh. I was like, yeah, he did. Oh, gosh.
Start again.
Rupert drops Helen off
That's right.
at home, and then he's on his way. He briefly considers stopping to see a married girlfriend on his way home.
Love it.
But he decides not to, and he's so tired he ends up taking a quick nap in the car instead because he hasn't slept for a few days. And Julie kind of explains this away very quickly. She's like, Rupert's so incredibly strong he can go days without sleeping. And you're like, okay, well, I'm not sure about that. But it does add to his kind of omnipresent thing, you know. You're like, how is he always in every situation? It's because he's too strong. He doesn't need to sleep. Yeah, okay. But also it kind of it gives me a little bit of a sense of like, he's got the world on his shoulders. Poor man. He's too busy to sleep. They've got me. No.
I think he just thrives on it.
Yeah, he's just too busy.
He's driven, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's all about the horses. It's all about making sure he doesn't miss out on any horse that might be coming up for sale. So he's always on the lookout. He's always willing to go and go anywhere to look at a horse. Yeah. So I think it's just his character. And he's young.
Yeah.
What, he's 25?
He's young. He parties a lot.
Yeah. So he's probably
busy.
No biggie.
Yeah. So,
but you go ahead and feel sorry for him.
I do feel
That's
sorry for
fine.
him. He needs a hug.
Yeah, that's okay.
He needs a good woman to sort him out.
Oh no.
So he wakes up and he carries on his drive and he goes home to Penscombe, which is the village and the house, I think, that he lives in. So he lives in this big big house, you know, one of those big country houses, owns a lot of the land in the village, and that's where he is. The ancestral Campbell-Black home, which he inherited at 21, and very quickly transformed it into not just a business but an empire. A horse empire. He transforms those of the grounds into stables, training grounds. It's a complete empire.
And this is why, you see, I think, because that was like 4 years ago. In 4 years, so that's why I'm thinking he's 25 now.
Yeah, because I forgot that it said he was 21 when he inherited.
And so his dad had let it fall into a bit of... It wasn't making money.
No.
But Rupert, so he's definitely more than a hooray ladies man. I mean, it was running at a loss with his dad, but Rupert's completely turned it around. So, you know, all kudos to him.
And he's turned it into a huge, profitable empire. Yep. And it just grows and grows throughout the series as well.
Yep.
And he's done it all with his best friend, Billy Lloyd-Foxe, next to him. And the village decides that they like Rupert and Billy for 2 reasons. Number 1, because Billy is universally adored.
Of course!
And number 2, because Rupert wouldn't care whether they liked him or not. Which sort of makes them like him more.
Yeah.
And us as well, to be honest. And he upsets the village a little bit by doing all of this stuff with the land.
Yeah.
And he also, the estate owned the village cricket pitch, and he gets rid of the cricket pitch to put in stables.
Cam wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, how would you feel about someone like that in your village? Do we care that he got rid of the cricket pitch? No.
He probably gave him some other land somewhere else.
It's not a very community-minded thing to do,
no. Is it? But I mean, all the changes, they will probably annoy people at first because, you know, there'd been this big stately home there on the edges of the village that had just been slowly going to rack and ruin. So suddenly somebody's come in and...
revived it.
Yeah, so there would be a lot of upheaval. But the yard was a success. It employed lots of people. And Billy and Rupert became famous for winning lots of...
they bring in fame and glamour
TV
into
and
the
film
area.
crews there and spending money in the village. So... You know, I think gradually it's turning them around.
And they do kind of... The whole village is, like, part of the team, in a way.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's kind of gets behind them, you know, and they're like,
they're proud of them.
They're our stars.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice. So we're in the kitchen of Penscombe.
I just have to...
Go on.
One of the things that makes me laugh in these Jilly books, talking about the kitchen, she never calls it a dishwasher.
Yes.
She always calls
Every
it
time
a washing up machine.
machine.
I absolutely love that. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Do you know what? Cam calls it the washing machine every time. He's like, we don't have one, but he's like, oh, should we just put them in the washing machine? And I'm like, no, we should not put the plates in the washing machine.
So what does he call the washing machine?
The washing machine.
Oh, of course, yeah.
He doesn't use it. So we're in the kitchen at Penscombe, and Billy is sat. He's trying to read Horse and Hound, clean his boots, drink whiskey, and eat oysters out of a tin all at the same time. Bless him. So Billy is not conventionally handsome. He has a broken nose, eyes permanently creased with laughter, but he has a smile that can melt the Arctic Circle. A little note there I put, which meant more back then than it does now. Because it'd probably be pretty easy to melt the Arctic Circle now. What do we think about Billy?
Oh,
let's talk.
Oh, Billy.
He's just the best, isn't he?
He is.
He's just the sweetest.
And when I read the books, I'd never quite nailed who I thought he should look like. I just loved him.
Yeah.
But when I saw the TV series and it was Anthony Carf, I thought that so perfect.
Yeah.
He's just got that lovely face, the lovely eyes, crinkly eyes.
It's that just a laughy, happy face, isn't it? And I know, like, she always says, oh, he's not conventionally handsome, but, like, he is handsome.
He
just
is.
not conventionally, in more of kind of like a rough sort of way.
Yeah,
and
not in Rupert's kind of way.
No, and he's got, you know, the broken nose, broad shoulders. He's quite tall, I think, as well. Yeah. To me, he is very handsome.
Definitely.
But the fact that he doesn't think he is
makes him more attractive.
Yeah, because he's someone who's grown up in Rupert's shadow. Even you could be the most beautiful, well, not the most beautiful person. You could be very
most beautiful.
You could be very beautiful and feel ugly if you're always with a friend who's more beautiful, who gets all the attention.
Yeah. And
it's just because you got the wrong friends.
But also I love that when Rupert gets back, it's midnight, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
And Billy's cleaning his boots
That's
and
what he's
drinking
doing.
whiskey and eating oysters in the kitchen. I love
Oysters
that.
out of a tin.
Out of a tin. Oh, yes.
I
But,
didn't even know they
oysters.
did
Has to be
that.
oysters. So I love that midnight,
Yeah.
and he's doing that.
Yeah.
And the locals all love him, and he spends lots of time in the pub and the village shop chatting to everyone. It just sums him up, doesn't it? But he might drive me a little bit mad.
He doesn't know what's good for him.
Well,
does he?
He's not very domestic. He can't load a dishwasher because it's full.
Yeah.
And he can't put things in the bin because that's full as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't think to empty
No,
it.
he's been kind of looked after his whole life, hasn't he? So he doesn't know how to look after himself, and he just doesn't know what's good for him.
But,
Yeah.
like Rupert, absolutely brilliant with the horses.
But
Yeah.
again, doesn't know because Rupert's better. He doesn't see how good he is.
Yeah.
And
I do. I see.
I've always pictured him, and maybe this is why I love him so much and I wanted better for him. I see him as, and we've talked about this, Miles Teller, and I've shown you pictures.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I think Miles Teller's really attractive. So I thought he had the perfect kind of face. He has the broken nose. I don't know if it's actually broken, but it's a bit wonky.
Yeah.
And like smiley eyes and the dark curly hair. I just thought he was perfect. And like I can't not see him. And this is why I don't want to watch the TV series, the Riders one, because I can't see him as anyone else. It would be wrong, especially because it's not just like a sort of fantasy, but I know that Miles Teller has to play him.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, obviously, for all its faults, the original TV series, Billy was the shining star for me, and I cannot see that actor. I can't not see him when I'm reading about Billy now. But I could see Miles Teller in a new remake.
Well, he
Yes,
would be appropriate
definitely.
for now as
Yeah, he
well.
would.
I think he's maybe a little bit on the old side for Billy right now, but I think he could definitely do it. And also, let's talk about what Billy makes you think of Rupert. Because you think somebody so sweet and lovely is best friends with Rupert.
Yeah.
He can't be that bad, can he?
No, he can't.
And there's always...
And I think that's what the village feel as well.
And Billy's kind of always the redeeming aspect of Rupert, especially at this point. You think, well, if Billy likes him, I like him.
Yeah.
So Rupert comes home and he finds Billy doing all this in the kitchen. And he finds the phone off the hook. And Billy says it's because too many of Rupert's girlfriends were calling, it wouldn't stop ringing. So Rupert puts the phone back on the receiver and it rings straight away.
Obviously, at midnight.
You know, like when in a TV show and someone's on the phone and someone's shouting at them down the phone, it's like, you know that noise?
Yeah.
And I just imagine that coming out the phone and Rupert's like holding it away from his ear, and he just takes the receiver, puts it in the cupboard, closes the door. Problem solved.
Do you know, when I was reading that, I thought, why didn't you just hang up?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just hang up?
No, because then they'd know. Do you know, it's like scam callers. You know, Dad used to put the phone in a drawer.
Oh, he did,
then walk
just
away.
let them carry on.
Yeah,
and,
waste their time.
Yeah.
And that's how Rupert sees the women that he slept with.
Just a little petty annoyance.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a
gosh,
bad boy.
He's such a he's so cheeky. So back over in London, Helen is fully pining for Rupert. He never suggested another
romantic
date.
hero.
He never said, "Oh, I'll call you," like I'll write to you or whatever. And she just doesn't know what to think. She thinks he doesn't want me anymore.
Yep.
I've been left. I've been left behind.
I'm of no use to him.
Yeah, so she goes to work because this is literally, they went to the hunt on Saturday, date on Sunday. She goes to work on Monday. Nigel's reappeared with his pride intact somehow, and he tells Helen all about what happened, and she doesn't care.
She's changing
Maybe
slightly.
she really doesn't care, and she sees herself as Juliet fraternising with the enemy Romeo, and she's romanticised this whole situation. You know, and she's like, "Oh, war inside," it's like, and with the aunties, and he's with the hunt.
Well, I mean, you can see that, can't you, man? She's spending all day with Nigel and his mates, and you can actually see how she would romanticise Rupert so much because he's the complete opposite, isn't
and
he?
want to just be swept away because she thought her life was going to be glamorous, and it's not at all. And
It could be.
Rupert's is, and she's like, I've had this taste now, I just want that. And she's waiting desperately for him to call, and he's competing at a show called Crittenden or in Crittenden.
Yep.
Is that a real place?
I don't think so.
Because I've looked up some of the places and none of them are real.
I mean, Rutcher isn't real.
Russia's not real.
No.
Do you know what? She doesn't mention Russia in this whole book. She doesn't even invent Russia until like book 3.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know that?
Ah.
Yeah. Because I was so confused. I was like, why is it called the Rutshire Chronicles? It's clearly in Gloucestershire.
Yeah, but Rutshires isn't Rutshire part.
She is a fake county that she's made up.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
in the Cotswolds area.
Yes, of course it is.
But right now, she hasn't made it up yet. So Helen's watching Crittenden, the show that Rupert's in on TV, and she sees Rupert carefree, glowing, flirting with all the women, and she just runs off and starts to cry.
Yeah, that's the best reaction.
And in that exact moment, when she's crying her little heart out, he calls, doesn't he? The phone
How
rings.
does he know?
And it's Rupert, and he knows exactly when she was at her most vulnerable, and he calls. And he invites her to come down and watch him compete the next day. And obviously, she's swept away. She got to the absolute limit of desperation. And he's called.
And she's off.
And she's off.
Of course.
She takes a taxi all the way from London to Crittenden, which I don't know if it's real, and I don't know where it is, but it's probably Gloucestershire. So it's it's hours,
Quite
isn't
a way in a taxi, yeah.
And they pull up to the gate. The guy knows that she's, the taxi driver knows she's one of Rupert's girls. And one of the guys on the front gate knows who she is.
Of course.
He's there waiting with a ticket, with the taxi fare. Everything's just sorted.
This is what we said, though, about Rupert in these books. Whenever he's involved, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's all going to work out.
Helen thinks this is how I should be treated. This is how someone of my standard should be treated. And she thinks, yes, I'm in the right place. And when she finally sees Rupert, he's surrounded by his groupies, his adoring teenage girls. And when he sees her, it's like they don't exist. She's the only woman in the world, and he comes right up to her. It would just work on anybody, wouldn't it?
Well, it would. I mean, and a Miss Romantic there, of course it would.
Yeah.
And especially in front of all those girls,
yeah,
it's going to make you feel really special.
Definitely special. And that's it, she's swept away. I think that moment, that's kind of it, isn't it? Because you know that she's a bit hooked on him already, and especially after this week pining for him. But that's kind of like, she's been swept off her
hook,
feet
line
now.
and sinker.
Yeah, he's got her. So he takes her back to the caravan, and inside the caravan is a couple of the other riders, an assortment of dogs, Billy, and a journalist who is interviewing Billy and getting a terrible story because Billy refuses to be controversial. The journalist is looking for some drama, and in Rupert walks, says, "You want some drama? Here it is." And we also learn that he bought the horse that we went to see on the date with Helen, and he's called it Macaulay, which is Helen's surname.
She'll love that.
And she finds out, and wow, it's a grand gesture, isn't it? Romantic, grand gesture.
Yeah.
Entirely unnecessary because she's already obsessed. He didn't need to do it. But what do we think about this? Is he obsessed with her as well, calling this horse after her?
I don't know. I don't know if he's necessarily obsessed, but he has himself admitted that he doesn't like unfinished business.
No.
And he hasn't managed to, get her into bed yet.
After one date, can't get her into bed, that's unfinished
I'll walk
business.
away and keep her hanging, yep. And although him and Billy have been talking about the state of the house, and Billy had said that what you need is a wife, so, maybe he's thinking,
and he's thinking, I'm 25, we're thinking, and at that point, that's like, time to think about settling down, find myself a wife.
Yep.
I mean, whatever the reason, she's obviously on his mind. If he's called the horse her surname.
Yeah, after one date.
Yeah.
He's definitely never had this much of a challenge before.
Yeah.
And I think he's quite liking it.
Yeah.
For now.
Well, back to the competition. Unlike Jake, Rupert is absolutely fine before competing. No nerves at all. He's cool as a cucumber. He thrives on it. And what do we think that this adds to the great debate, Jake versus Rupert?
Well, don't forget Billy gets nervous as well.
I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's a very, very different way of handling things, isn't it?
It is. It's characters, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it just sums Rupert up. I think what it is, Jake cares and Rupert expects.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference.
Because Rupert's won all his life.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he win at this as well? Whereas Jake's lost all his life. And it's definitely a very clear contrast between the two characters as
Yeah,
well.
you know, Rupert, he's uber confident about everything.
Yeah.
And he's got that killer instinct and he always wants to win.
Yeah. So Rupert's competing. Helen's watching from the rider's stand. One competitor after another is struggling with this course and not doing very well. And Melise Gordon is watching. He's now the chef de quip of the British team, which basically just means he's like the manager of the team, and he's watching, so he's kind of like the scout for the British team. So the stakes are high, and Rupert rides and he's spectacular.
Naturally,
he wins. Melise is impressed but not overwhelmed, and we can see there's very clearly tension between Melise and Rupert. And as a side note, just throw it in there, Melise mentions an up-and-coming rider who might be good enough to make the British team in a few years. Jake Lovell. Jesus Christ. And just like that, the worlds collide.
Yes, they're back.
Yeah, and we're seeing kind of, okay, this is how these different characters are all going to come into the same story eventually. Rupert isn't bothered about Jake. He doesn't think he's ever going to be competition to him. He's just won. He's on top of the world. He's feeling great.
How could anyone possibly be competition?
Yeah.
And, you know, and he thinks of Jake from school.
Well, if he remembers.
Oh, he remembers.
Billy is also competing, but he has retired from the competition. He didn't finish his round because his horse is terrified of water, absolutely terrified, and it clears the water jump.
I love what Jilly says about that. She says, people who were close swear to this day that the bull, which is Billy's horse, closed his eyes when he jumped. Oh. Wanting to do so well for Billy, I'm going to try this.
Oh gosh. Yeah. And so Billy's like, you know what, that's enough for me.
I'm so proud of him.
I'm so proud of him. I'm not going to make him do the rest of it. He's conquered his fears. The horse has conquered his fears, and we're going to walk away from that. And in that way, Billy has actually overshadowed Rupert winning the competition.
Yeah,
because everyone's talking about what Billy did and not Rupert winning.
Yeah.
And Rupert's not happy about that. Even though he loves Billy, he doesn't enjoy coming second in any sense.
No. I mean, it's Rupert's competitive spirit, isn't it? And he actually wanted the opportunity to be able to beat Billy in the jump off. You know, he lost it.
He didn't get to do that. And he's kind of like taken the edge off the winning a little bit for him, hasn't it? So now after the competition and Rupert's feeling maybe a little bit disappointed, now all he wants is Helen. Moving on. This is somewhere I can win, hopefully. Nobody else will do. The only cure, get her into bed. But he knows that he can't rush it because she's quite rigid in her morals and he doesn't want to scare her. So what he does, he cooks up a plan to make her jealous at the party that night. And then he knows after making her jealous, she's going to want him and then it's going to be easy. So he brings her back to the caravan. He's like, yeah, you're coming out to this party with me tonight. It's going to be so much fun. So this is where we kind of leave it. And while they're chatting away in the caravan, kind of pre-drinking before the party, Helen's talking to one of the German riders. And she's trying to have a conversation about Brecht. And the German rider thinks she's saying breasts. So she's trying to talk about Brecht. He's like, oh, yeah, breasts.
My favourite.
And I think that just kind of summarises Helen's experience in Rupert's world. Something that she wants, but she just doesn't quite fit.
Yeah, she's a little bit of an outsider at the minute.
She looks right, she looks the part, but she doesn't know these people. She doesn't know how to
can't get involved in the
communicate.
banter, and all they're obsessed about talking about his horses. So,
She wants it so bad, she just doesn't quite fit in. And next episode, we're going to be finding out what happens at Helen's first show jumping party later that night. Spoiler alert, Helen and Rupert's relationship is going to take a few dramatic turns in the next
can't
episode.
Wait for that.
We're about to ride the roller coaster. But before we go, it's time for Rupert or not Rupert. So, just like last time, I'm going to give you two quotes about the same situation. Okay, one of them is real and one of them is made up. So the situation that we're talking about is, if you remember, back in Rupert's mum's house in London, Helen's pouring her heart out about her uni and her past and Harold Mountjoy.
Oh, yes.
So she's telling him all the gory details about that. So Rupert says, Harold Mountjoy. From the sounds of it, there was more Mount than Joy. Harold Mountjoy should have been called Mount Helen.
Oh.
One of them is real, and one of them is fake.
You know, I can't remember this one.
Well, good.
And I'm going to go for the one I like best.
Okay.
And I'm going to go for Mount Helen.
Oh, you've got it. I thought I had you on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did like the other one, but that one, yeah, I liked that. Well, I've got a full house so far.
Full house.
Oh, I can't wait for my prize.
One day, stay tuned even just to hear me stump her on one of them. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please tell your friends, and if you're feeling particularly generous, give us a rating or leave us a review. It really does help. If you didn't enjoy it, please keep it to yourself. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Ravishing Podcast for updates and extra bits and anything else that we might post, like pictures of who we think should have been cast as Rupert and Billy. Make sure you turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.
And if you have strong opinions, and we know you do, we'd absolutely love to hear from you. Please send us anything that you would like to share with us. Favourite characters, who you imagine when you're reading them, best bits or worst bits of the book, anything really that you want to share and we can have a good chat about. And you can message us on socials or email us at theravishingpodcast@gmail.com with all your Rupture deliciousness. So that's all from us, and see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.